NFC South record predictions: Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. I mean, I think we all think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are winning this division. I think they're going to be the one sole team.
I think we're all just going to be different on the Saints.
To wipe the floor with their teams. I think the Buccaneers are going to go 15-2 this season. I think Tom Brady. My 2 MVP picks this year are Tom Brady and Ryan Tannehill. I think Tom Brady might become the oldest MVP in NFL history. He already was, because I think he won it at like 39 or 40 with New England in 2018, I believe. It was one of those years.
He'll beat his own record.
Tom Brady is just a different breed. The Buccaneers have a stacked roster. And I try to tell you. Last year, I tried to tell you how stacked their roster was.
Let it go, bro. Let it go.
I try to tell you now. It's like so common knowledge and easy to say how good they are. Yeah. But this team is such a great team, top to bottom. But I think we'll bore people by just talking about them, because we all are expecting them to win the division and be the favorites to win the Super Bowl, at least 1 or 2.
I have them at 14-3 because I'm not too. I think it's going to be between the Packers and the Buccaneers, between that 1 and 2 seed. So I'm not too sure right now who has the edge going into the season. I think it's definitely the Buccaneers, obviously, since they just won the Super Bowl and they have the same exact roster that they had last season, which has never happened before in NFL history.
Do y'all think the Saints are going to make the playoffs?
I don't believe so.
I don't have them in. I think this is the only division I have. This one in the NFC East where one team comes out.
Because the thing is, you look at the NFC West, there's going to be potentially 3 teams that make it in that division.
4,
now, we look at the North, Packers and Vikings. Yep. So where's the other wild card spot?
You don't think the Panthers have a chance at the playoffs?
So that's funny that you say that. I do believe they finished second in this division.
Oh.
I just think that they miss out on it because I take the Seahawks
in order for you to do that,
them.
Wouldn't you have to believe in Darnold?
And I do believe Darnold has a decent season.
I don't believe in Darnold.
That's why I'm asking.
But it's very hard to fail with Robbie, Moore, Terrace Marshall, and CMC. Okay. If he fails, he really does suck.
I agree.
But it's hard to fail with them because
they're just lacking in the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think their defense is a very young, up-and-coming defense. You have Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick, then J.C. Horn. They also have Dante Jackson on that secondary as well. Yep. Jeremy Chin is there. I mean, they have a Derek Brown, their first-round pick of last year.
They have a really good team.
They have a really good team.
They have a solid roster for sure.
Yeah, DJ Moore and McCaffrey are still young, too.
But my problem with them is that I think Joe Brady coming from New Orleans, then going to LSU, then going to Carolina, we praise him as this next great OC, but he struggles in red zone offense. Last year, the Panthers were one of the worst red zone offenses in the league, and Teddy Bridgewater said we don't practice it. in the preseason, they had one of the worst red zone offenses again. Obviously it's preseason, but maybe Teddy's right. They don't practice it, and they leave a lot of points on the board. I watched a lot of Carolina games last year. They were a fun team to watch because they were a competitive team. They couldn't get the ball in the end zone. And if that's the same case this upcoming season, I don't know how many games they'll win. I actually have Carolina at 5 wins, and I have Atlanta at 5 wins as well. I have both of them at 5 wins. I could be wrong about the Panthers. That's the one team I think I could be wrong about, because if Sam, has a great year, and then everything changes. I think the Saints are going to be vying for that last wild card spot in the NFL. It's going to be between them and the Cardinals. I have the Saints at 11-6.
Wow.
And Arizona at 11-6.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're high on the Saints, man.
Like I said,
if Arizona, if it's really on the tiebreaker, the last team will be Arizona or New Orleans. Like I've been telling you since last year, Jameis Winston, I believe in Winston. I'm a Jameis Winston believer. And I think this New Orleans Saints team defensively is still great. You look at their offensive line is still one of the best in the league. Alvin Kamara is still one of the best backs. Even though Michael Thomas is not there, I think that Marquez Callaway.
When does he come back?
I think he's gonna miss about like 3-4 weeks. And I think
MT?
Yeah, MT.
I thought they said 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 weeks. Yeah. Oh yeah, even more.
Okay.
I think Marquez Callaway is gonna shock a lot of people this upcoming year.
I agree with that.
And Sean Payton, I just think he's just a genius as an OC.
That's where I have a little pushback. I'm not a huge fan of Sean Payton's, especially come playoff time.
I love Sean Payton. I think these past couple of years, they have been held back because Drew Brees has not been the old Drew Brees. Yeah. Drew Brees' limitation shows. And I think these past couple of seasons, Sean Payton has been maximizing Drew Brees and making him look better than what he actually was. His stats look awesome. He went 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater looked like, he had 9 touchdowns, 0 picks with Sean Payton.
Yep.
Getting Jameis, a guy who threw 33 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, obviously the interceptions are there. I think now in this offense, learning it for a year, it's not going to be that same learning curve where he's going to make mistakes early on because this is new. This is stuff that he's been memorizing and sucking in for the last year.
Clip?
Which is why I believe that he's going to just come out and start firing right off the gate. He's gonna do great. I think Jameis he's going to win comeback player of the year this year.
I think Jameis does have a good season. The only issue that I have with going 11-5 is the weapons. Callaway's going to be good, but who else?
Yeah.
Kamara is going to see. Is he going to have 1,000 yards receiving?
Kamara's going to do it.
Do you think he could have 1,000 yards receiving?
Yes.
He could come close to it.
Because that's the only way that I'm okay with it.
800 yards.
But has Jameis ever been known to dump off to the running back like that? He's going to have to.
That's
all right.
You got mad mucus.
You're a clown.
Nah, my fault.
That's all right, bro. So, all right, final rankings for me. I'm going to go Buccaneers 14-3. I'm going to go Panthers.
You don't think Kamara can go 800?
800, definitely.
Like, yeah, 800.
Yeah, it did. 800, but he's
Winston
probably going to have to go 1,000, 1,000.
He's watched the system for
So
a year.
Kamara-
He's learned.
Man, Kamara last year
He was a freak.
had 16 touchdowns rushing.
Ridiculous.
932 yards. He had 756 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns.
Jesus.
And I think he could go for 1,000 if they because they have Latavius Murray as a running back. So if anything, he could be your
Slot guy?
Yeah, and you can have Alvin Kamara at the slot, and he can go out there. There's a lot of unproven guys. Traquan Smith is unproven. Marquez Callaway, even though I think Marquez Callaway will be good. There's a lot of unproven guys, but when you have an offensive line this good, Teron Armstead, Andres Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Ramczyk, it's really hard not to be a great offense.
Agreed.
Especially with Sean Payton calling the plays. I just think they'll find a way. And that defense, it's really good, man. You got Quan Alexander, Demario Davis, Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore. They signed Brian Poole, even though he's on IR right now. Cameron Jordan, who's been a top edge rusher. I just think they'll still be a great team. I don't see them dropping off much.
11-5 is just, I feel that's a little bit too high. I feel like I'm going to go.
Or 11-6. Yeah.
11-6, excuse me. I keep going 16 games. I will get it. I will.
It.
I know too much football to not get it. 17 games.
No,
so I'm probably going to go Panthers, Saints, then followed by the Falcons. I think Falcons win around 5-6 games. I feel like the Saints will probably win 8 games. Probably go. It's 8-9 because that's 17.
Good job.
Thanks. And then I think the Panthers would probably go 9-8. I think they have a 9-8 season. And
14-3 for the big boys up top, Tampa Bay. I have the Saints winning 9 to 10 games.
Okay.
Now, I think they'll at least get there. Like you said, their roster is still, for the most part, everybody's still there except they have a new quarterback. It's just MT's going to miss some times. But Kamara, he showed even when MT was out last year, he can carry the load
for sure
until he gets back. I have the Panthers winning 7 games. I think that'll be I think they're good enough where they can win 7 games.
Yeah.
And then the Falcons are going to win about 5-6 games. They're just losing Julio is going to be big. They lost a lot of pieces on that defense.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be an overall bad team this year. So I have the Falcons winning around 5-6 games.